All right, everyone. In this video, we're going to look at homework problem 7.4 and wrap up this series of videos on the homework problems from chapter 7. So let's get into it. Excuse me. In this problem here, I'm going to do some of the formatting. Let's do this one as well. Let's get rid of that. Okay, this should be pretty quick. This problem is relatively small, I guess, compared to a lot of the other ones here in this chapter. And so basically we've got a bunch of figures: Walmart, Target, and Sears. We've got the current year, prior year kind of deal. Bunch of figures here. We've got net sales. Again, remember that sales after returns and discounts, cost of goods sold or cost of sales, inventory, and accounts receivable net. So that's factoring in the allowance for doubtful accounts, and then total assets. Okay. And so then if we're going to be looking at calculating our receivables turnover, we're going to want to, the formula here, which I can paste in, just to, pull it out of the out of our what am I trying to say? The lecture, PowerPoint. It's going to be net sales divided by average net AR. So let's do one thing here. I'm going to do Format Painter down here and do average net AR. Excuse me. Oh, we're missing the A there. Okay. And just to make this look a little more consistent, I'm going to undo the formatting and then just do a new border with that. Oh, I didn't even get it right. Sorry. Bear with me. Okay, so that's there. Let's do a border there. Border there. Just to get this thing to look a little cleaner. Okay. So now let's calculate our average AR, so net AR. So I'm going to do a formula with the equal sign and a parentheses. And to get our average, we're going to take current plus last year and then divide by 2. And so our average AR there, I'm going to just do this across. So again, this current plus last year, 2 things, divided by 2, that gives you the average. And again, for you can see down here, so to calculate, we need net sales divided by average net AR. And when we do that, we get 101.43. I don't like the way that format. Let me just do Calibri 11. Okay, and I'd rather have it, but just 2 decimal places is fine. And then I just dragged it across, but we only really need it for the current year. And so again, we're saying how many times does our receivables turn over? And from this information that we can tell here, and this is interesting. I'm going to add a little deal. I'm going to copy that row and paste it in. This, it doesn't ask us specifically to do this, but I'm going to call this A1, and I'm going to calculate the average collection period. That's a ratio or a metric that we talk about in this chapter, and it really kind of speaks exactly to what we're trying to answer here. So basically, you take 365 divided by the average turnover period, and I'm going to paste those in. And that's a good way to get really directly an estimate basically for how fast we're collecting our receivables. And so that directly tells us, Walmart, and we could kind of figure that out by looking at the receivables turnover. It's the highest, so that indicates that we're collecting the fastest at Walmart. But if we do the average collection period, it really tells us, we're able to see on average we're collecting within less than 4 days. So it gives us a little more, detail or nuance to our answer. Collects in less than 4 days on average, which is the lowest. Or let's call it, which is the quickest, let's say. That's more specific to what the question asked about. And then, you can do your control tilde if you want to do it that way. I'm not too worried about that. So if you guys just don't do that, I'm not going to be too upset about it. And but yeah, that if you do it, I can check that myself when I look at these for grading. But good stuff. All right. Well, hopefully that makes sense. Just some of the ratios related to receivables. And again, it just speaks to, it is important to have collections be happening quickly, because when you have cash that's not being paid to you, that's cash that you could be putting to work buying inventory or investing or doing something for the business. And if that's just outstanding waiting to be paid to us, that's not great for us. So, all right. Well, this concludes the series of Chapter 7 homework videos, 7.1 to 7.4. And appreciate you all watching along. And I will see you all soon. Have a great evening or night or morning or whatever time of day it is when you're watching the video. Thanks, everybody.